is now 9:07. I'll call the Sewage and Water Board Finance and Administration Committee meeting to order. Special counsel, please call the roll.
Director Kennedy,
Here.
Director Pacho,
Here.
Director Howard, Director Scruggs,
Here.
Director Greenwich.
Here.
Chair Yellowform.
Thank you very much. We will now proceed with two presentation items. Our CFO, Gray Lewis.
Well, thank you to the committee. Appreciate the opportunity to give the financial update. Just want to introduce at the beginning, help me this morning, Daryl Isles, our CIO, is here with us, and also Renell Brown is going to be filling in for Susanna Kirby. Renell's been working with Susanna the last year as a key account manager. Susanna is moving on to a new position in the city, so thank her for that service. But Renell will be working with all the customer service and revenue items, so she'll be able to answer questions this morning. So with that, I think just jump into our January financials. As we talked about last month, we had our financial system conversion. So the way the days worked out, the 30th, Friday, January 30th was the last day of our legacy system. And then we had a week of February, there was a blackout period. There was the new system, February 9th, we started. So when we look at the end of the January numbers, a little skewed, a little different, and that's because we, at the last week of January, we pushed out a lot of payables, about 10 million. We actually held those and then released those through February. So the numbers are impacted by that. We'll talk about that. But here in January, we recognize about 20.4 million in water sewer operating revenue, about 3.7 below budget. The drainage taxes, as you'll know, those come in after the due date. They're due February 28th. So we're not yet seeing significant monies there. We'll start seeing that later this month. On the operating expense side, we have 12.5 million. So again, this is low because of that early cutoff. We normally hold the financial statement period open. So this number will catch up as we look at February. There'll be more coming in February. So next steps really with the system and getting everyone comfortable. We're gonna talk about Oracle, but just the volume of transaction processing, we need to get that up to what we have been doing, get everything stabilized, get the financial reporting periods kind of balance out between February and March. So that's what we're focused on right now, in addition to preparing for the audit. On the next slide, we're just breaking things out between water, sewer, drainage. For the month, there's about 10 million of water revenue, just below budget. Sewer was 10.3 million. That was less than a monthly budget by about 20%. And we're going to look at the volume graphs separately in a couple slides between water and sewer. January expenses were about operating 3.9 million for water and sewer each, 4.7 for drainage. Each of these was impacted by that early period close. So we'll have more expenses as we get into February. On our next slide this is our cash collection slide. The numbers for February cash collections were 19.8 million, January 21.2 million. So that's about those 2 months, 41 million in collections from our water and sewer bills. That compares to about last year, the first 2 months, 37.1 million. So a little improvement. I think we attributed to the ramping up of collections and turnoffs and those things. So historically, the first quarter of the year has had some lesser performing months, meaning the rank of the total cash collection is typically lower in the first quarter. So if we can weather those first couple months, hopefully that's a good sign. But we'll see as things progress. On this slide, we're showing our ratio over the last 12 months. We have about 6% uncollected when we compare cash collected to the prior month revenue. It was about 2% 12 months ago. And then the drivers on the revenue side, issued 106,000 of bills during the month, 106,000 customer bills, and then volumes were lower, which we see here. So here we've broken out water and sewer. As you know, it's billed on the same bill, but separate charges, and the volumes for January and revenue are both down. So it's a combination of the bill counts, how many bills do we issue, and then what was the volume on those bills. And we have, as you know, we have a tiered rate structure for water with the first 2 blocks increasing and then decreasing at the end. On sewer, we have a flat rate. There's no tiers, it's just 8.66 per 1,000. The volumes were lower, both on sewer for revenue and the amount of consumption that was on those bills. This next slide is showing our percentage that we're billed, including readings. So this is the highest percent, 99%, very good, because of the smart metering benefits. The 1% that we don't have a reading on, we show on this next slide is broken out. So the number was 1,963 for the month of January. The majority of those are the unable to reach mechanical meters. So as we commented last month, we're continuing with the project to track these down, get those upgraded, get the number as low as possible. This next slide is our HDI reporting for the month of February. There was 679,000 in credits recommended by HDI. January is 1.1 million. We apply those in our billing system, CSM, so the total activity is 1.4 million for January. So we're continuing to work with the City Council's group, and this program is running every day with the call center and their review of customer high bill complaints. Next slide is customer receivables. The past due amount at the end of January is about 58.6 million, which was down 2% from the previous month. Similar number of installment plans, similar efforts that we've been talking about. On this slide, we're just breaking it out to 4 categories of the size of the arrearage. So the less than $500 owed in past due bills. About 8,000 customers, only 43% have asked for the promise pay. So that's where we're asking the public, to the common sense approach to enroll, get an interest-free payment plan, get that addressed as soon as possible. On this slide, we're just showing our monthly service interruptions that we do as a last resort. So for January, there was 1,298 customer accounts that were issued with service interruptions as a last resort to help us not allow customers to get into a bigger hole. And then on the dashboard, wanted to mainly just highlight line 9, days cash on hand. So this for water at the end of January is 87 days cash on hand, and sewer 84. Those are both below our minimum requirement, which is a year-end requirement. But as each month we update our numbers, so that's directly tied to what I mentioned about pushing out more payables because of the system conversion. We expect that to recover, rebound. I know we've seen some funding come in for sewer on the WIFIA loans. We get funded each month. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. The other piece we've been talking about is IMF fair share funding for the city. We haven't received November, December, January. Spoke to the city about that, and Steve Nelson working with their finance team to get those payments to us, because that's helped our cash reserves. If you think about it, since inception, 2019 fair share has provided cash every month, and without that, we're seeing lower amount of cash reserves. So next slide is our debt obligations. No changes in the long-term financing arrangements. We continue to draw down on the same long-term debt instruments. The liability, we actually incur the liability when we do the drawdown. So we have WIFIA, the state revolving loan funds, and continue to just work through the process with that to get the money back into the system as quickly as possible. This slide is capital improvement. We did 35.7 million was paid. And we didn't do new appropriations in January because of the system conversion. Now we've started those in the new system, entering those projects into Oracle. And then next on the grant status for the month, we received about 2.6 million on the FEMA grants. This is an important topic because it ties into with the city receivables. So I'll go to this slide. Randy and I had our first meeting with the city CAO as well as Steve Nelson last week, talking about the city receivables and this GOSEP grant funding. We now have like weekly touch points with GOSEP, and we worked, put together a joint letter that was signed by both the mayor and Randy, asking GOSEP to basically expedite these payments so that we can get the money and follow the CEA, turn around, and we repay DPW. They were let the contract they're doing. This is for the joint infrastructure work where we have utility work, the city has the contract.
If I may add, I just want to stress that SWPNO has been working within the terms of the CEA. We're not in default in any way in our payments, and the city has been a great partner. And we're going to do everything we can to push GOSEP to give us the monies that are due so that we can hand them over to the city. And so we're going to routinely pursue those funds.
Right. Yeah, so we work with our reimbursement team, which reports up through the CFO. We meet with the city on a bi-weekly basis. So these again are just common sense measures to make sure the processing can get done as quickly as possible. We understand the city, the next several weeks for them, as they've been working with the legislative auditor, their cash flow are pretty critical. So we'll be having recurring updates on this JR reimbursement. The other parts of the city receivables are either on hold or the city is clear there's not a funding source, and they're not. I think they're being very reasonable, focusing on the PW 21031 that has the grant funding, getting that portion back into their city coffers. So that's been the focus. The other items, we have a list of basically other cost sharing offsets or things that we said earlier need to be documented into the CEAs to potentially offset some of these other areas or reallocate the grant funding from the city to SWPNO. So we also shared that with the city CAO, and we'll be, as Randy said, meeting with them regularly. And then the last piece on the minor drainage consolidation revenue, we mentioned that as well to the city CAO and Steve, just because that IMF funding source is the only recurring or basically minor drainage source, and having not seen it, we're at a bit of a pause on the minor drainage cleaning. So again, Steve was going to work with their city's finance team to get us the funding and move forward with that. So customer service. Just to update, the month of January there was a conversion on the integrated voice response system from legacy system to a new system. Nice in Contact is something that works for our customers for basically the call in, punch this number for this help. So we don't have the numbers yet due to this nice conversion. Keith James was also with Susanna. They had a commitment of the civil service this morning, but they're going to be following up and reporting back on this new system and any other customer service related topics. And Renelle, feel free if you want to share anything specifically.
No, we don't have anything currently. Again, we're still working through the conversion, and hopefully next month we'll have updated numbers.
Thanks. So yeah, the customer service center, continue to be open. I think one day in January with weather, of course, the days earlier this week with the closure, but we made adjustments to not have the lobbies open Monday because of the water situation at the downtown building, but the other West Bank and other online ability is continued. So again, just trying to communicate with customers on all the different methods to handle their business with the utility and make it as convenient as possible. And the comms team and everyone's doing a lot of work to get our message out and communicate as much as we can on any customer service interruptions, if you will, or things that we have to deal with every day. So that's what I wanted to highlight for January. Happy to answer any additional questions from the committee.
All right, thank you. No more questions. Thank you. Next, we have an Oracle presentation with our Chief Information Officer, Darrell Isles, as well as Gray Lewis.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, directors. Appreciate you having me. So I actually come to you with great pride in the team and in making this presentation. So we've reached a significant milestone with Sewage and Water Board. Last month, we went live with, successfully went live with our new financial system. Leading up to this has been 22 months of effort in conversion from our 30-year-old mainframe system, referred to as AFIN. This hardware, it was aging. It was at end of life. It was becoming scarce to maintain, and we couldn't connect with modern systems. So 7 of the core modules that were planned went live last month. That includes the general ledger, accounts payable, procurement, projects, cash management, and grants. The final remaining budget module is the budget piece, which will go live in Q2, so we're looking at May or June timeframe. Staff are actively processing transactions in the new environment, and our vendors are also transitioning the new supplier portal, which allows them to register and submit invoices directly through electronic means, which improves efficiency for everyone. So I want to take a moment real quick, if you allow me, to recognize some of the staff that have supported our mainframe over the years. So Mr. Kenneth Aguilar, who's been with Sewage and Water Board for 38 years. Elmwood Fleming, who's been a lead operator, retired earlier this year, 30 years with the board. Debbie McCann, who's a project manager, 17 years. Gary Northern, systems development specialist, 12 years. Bill St. John, one of our program analysts, 21 years. Linda Stewart, systems programmer, 31 years, who's retired but still working. We actually call her and have her on a part-time contingency basis. So, and Darlene Williams, who's a lead operator for 20 years. So this represents 175 plus years, roughly, if my math is right, of dedicated service and support from our technical staff that is often unrecognized. So I just wanted to take a moment to show their appreciation in that. Furthermore, the staff that's been part of this project, Gray's team, the accounting team, budget team, operations staff, this has been a SWBNO-wide effort to get to this point. So I'm coming to you, like I said, with great pride in presenting this milestone. Next slide, please. So talked a little bit about this, but why was this investment necessary? So the AFIN mainframe system was end of life. The hardware was a single point of failure with no redundancy. The mainframe expertise, as I mentioned, was increasingly rare. Finding retaining staff with these specialized skills became difficult and expensive for the board. The old system couldn't talk to modern applications. Every integration was customized work. It created barriers to efficiency and data sharing. And certain processes could not be run remotely. During the pandemic, for example, IT staff had to come into the office to process check payments, and that's not sustainable. So reporting was limited. Pulling data for analysis required requests from IT staff. The manual extraction was manual spreadsheet work. So next slide, please. So the expected benefits of this Oracle Cloud ERP system. So this slide summarizes the 6 benefits that we expect to realize from this investment. Some of these are available immediately, others will develop reports or month-end closures to see where we stand, access from anywhere. Staff can work securely and remote from any location with internet access, no VPN required. This supports continuity of operations as well as flexible work arrangements. We have built-in disaster recovery as part of this solution. Oracle guarantees a 99.9% uptime. So if something goes wrong, we have catastrophic failure, then a recovery happens within 12 hours and we are at risk of losing less than an hour of data. So compare that to our old system where a failure could have taken weeks or months to recover from. Streamlined operations, automatic workflows, reduce the manual data entry. Also mention enhanced analytics. The system includes embedded dashboard and drill down capabilities so the staff can explore directly rather than exporting spreadsheets. And one of the main benefits too is continuous updates. So Oracle delivers quarterly updates automatically. We get new features and security patches without major projects. Next slide, please. So getting into the cost analysis of this. So I'll walk through the financial picture. The slide compares what we were paying for the old system against the cost of the new one. On the left, you'll see the former mainframe costs. We were paying roughly $640 to $790 in annual costs just in software and hardware maintenance. A couple of these lines are normalized to an annual budget, even though they cover like a 14 or an 18-month period. So LRS, for example, is 14, CGI is an 18-month. So trying to represent an annual cost figure rather than the actual licensing span. But these figures do not include the allocated labor, facilities, or data center cost overhead. So this is just a straight cost. The true cost of maintaining the mainframe is actually higher. So on the right, the new Oracle system, the implementation cost approximately $4.8 million. What's not shown on this slide, and I want to be clear to the public, is that there would have been reinvestment costs in the new mainframe systems, which would likely have exceeded this in terms of cost of the implementation as well as the hardware investment. So going to a cloud solution is actually a cost savings, in my opinion, a return on investment. Our annual software fees were approximately $395,000 with 3.5% annual increases. In the bottom line, we expect to see an annual savings of roughly $250,000 in direct costs, depending on how you calculate the former baseline. But the real value is not just the cost savings. We've eliminated significant operational risk. We've gained disaster recovery capability, and we've positioned ourselves for future integration with other systems, specifically with our upcoming modernization efforts for the human capital management project, the enterprise asset management, and the customer billing systems. So wanted to clarify what's next. So go live is not the end of this project. We're now in a stabilization period called hypercare, and that's important work ahead. So we have a dedicated team. Hypercare is an intensive support period. ABM and IBM, our consultant partners, are on-site and remotely available to resolve and escalate matters quickly, answer questions, and help staff build confidence. There is a standard practice for enterprise systems implementations. The weeks after go live are where most issues occur and surface. So having these experts available make a significant difference in our adoption. Training was completed before go live, but the learning continues. We have improvements to the learning process where we have the project team, which is going forward with an adoption mindset and trying to encourage staff to learn and use the system as well. So we have these resources in place. Refresher sessions are available, and the system includes in-application guidance that walks through the processes step by step. Now, to be clear, and I don't want to candy coat everything, we have some challenges in terms of enhanced reporting that we're looking to implement and some of the workflow that we'll refine in our processes. So that is what stabilization is for, and that's what we're working through now. So the dedicated support is really meant to help those efforts. So phase 2 is already in motion with AST, our partner. That's the budget module I mentioned earlier. So it's called EPM, or Enterprise Performance Management. This will extend our capabilities to capital budget, revenue forecasting, and automated budget book reporting. So the mainframe archive process is another effort we've already started. We're preserving historical data for audit and reference. Staff will be able to access archived records when needed. So after hypercare ends in April, our IT staff assume primary support responsibility. Oracle handles the infrastructure and delivers the quarterly updates automatically. So with that, again, I'd like to thank all involved with this effort. And like I said, this is a huge milestone for Sewage and Water Board, and I'm happy to be here and report this.
Thanks, Daryl. I just want to add my thanks as well. Like the whole project has been professionally done with the project management office, with the IS, having a project manager. It's been Kirk Bowie has been great to teach and leads new leaders. Teresa Matthews and Cash Moses and Derek Scott on the GSO side. So each of these, and Kevin Garrison also budgets. And so everyone's participated. Is a big project, big learning opportunity. So we're really thankful that it's been set up. It's the implementation is expensive, right? But you're investing in the way businesses operate in a modern cloud-based system. All these advantages that Daryl did such a great job laying out. So appreciate the board's support, and really just looking forward to the stabilization and serving all of our internal customers better. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's great. I have one question. Well, first, congratulations on this. I love to hear things like the organization will be more stable. That is music to, I think, any director's ears. For our consumers, our ratepayers, are there any ways that they might feel the impact of Oracle?
Yeah, it's mostly indirect in terms of like our vendors, our internal processing, but vendors support, customer in the experiences in terms of like billing, how these other customer service features might get paid for. So it's mostly indirect, but it just kind of reputationally with the organization, the brand, the ability, to bring on good contractors, have good procurement processes, have departments communicating effectively with each other. Kind of it just improves the overall brand. So.
And I'll add to that a little bit in that. So this is the first of 4 major systems implementations. I mentioned briefly the customer information system, which is out for RFP right now. This sets the stage. This is the foundation. So being able to integrate that system with our financial management system and our budget books directly improves our operational efficiencies and effectiveness. So that will show a direct impact on our customers and when we have all these systems implemented. We're a little bit out from getting to that point, but this is the framework. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have an additional question regarding ongoing support that internal IT was assuming, and I know you mentioned a couple of people that would be retiring in all those years. It seems like it's gonna be several people. The plan going forward, especially considering you're gonna be integrating other systems, I'm assuming internal IT would be doing the integrations for those other systems since they take hold of that, or will Oracle offer a little bit support is the first question. But secondly, when they have these refreshes and updates, just managing that since that's going to be transitioning to internal IT, are there any staffing challenges you foresee, or, it's a different type of knowledge from the mainframe to the cloud base?
Yes, ma'am. No, excellent question. So we're working on we have an internal staffing plan. So there are some folks on the mainframe support staff that are scheduled to retire here soon. Others have shown interest in areas that we have within our internal IT department. So one of the focus me and the IT director have had over the past few months is understanding the needs of the organization, reviewing that, and then making sure that we try to retain as much inherent technical knowledge as we can. So we have a plan to implement that going forward and to ensure that we have the right resources in place. So our goal, of course, is to make sure we keep the knowledge base within Sewage and Water Board, and I think we're addressing that accordingly. But in terms of Oracle support, so Oracle does provide support in patch implementation, and so that's consistent with industry standards in terms of how their quarterly cadence is applied. So we have support staff in place from that. We've structured our future staffing footprint to have technical resources and dedicated system administrative support staff that directly support the financial system. So working with each entity, we do that actually for all HR system for all the enterprise applications. So there is a subgroup within the IT department that has dedicated support for these matters. So hopefully that answers your questions.
Thanks again. My question was about the updates. This is really exciting for me. And to see, Oracle has a 10-year plan for this. Do we have any preview for what updates look like? Are there any additional modules and I guess more specifically, I'm wondering when AI kind of impacts our processes, right? Is that now or is that we're gonna wait for that update?
So updates are quarterly driven by Oracle.
Right.
And their feature sets are ever expanding. Oracle's this is a tier 1 system, what we've referred to in the past conversations. They are a major class provider of this space, and us moving from our previous implementation to a legacy system to this, I would assume safely that, we're going to get all the benefits that are built into these system features. Whether it includes A or I can't speak to, I'm not an Oracle rep, but so there are enhanced capabilities. Some of the upgrades that we've already considered internally are enhanced reporting measures that we found through the implementation process that we can improve upon. So there's a custom report change order that we're actually looking at right now. So this is a living process in terms of how we improve both internally and with the system and the capabilities that it provides. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see where we were on that time. That's great. But look, finish lines are important. And I remember you sat before us, a couple of years ago, and you laid out what we were going to experience. And this is an amazing day. So thank you for your leadership. To everyone on the team, this is a significant day and a day that, you called out a couple of years ago. So,
well, thank you for helping us get here. I think this is certainly a great step forward.
Awesome. All right. Any other? Good. Okay. And we acknowledge that, thanks that Director Cole has joined us. Welcome. And next we have our action items. Yes, action item. Is that with interim Mr. Lewis, right?
Yeah, first one is the resolution 63 for the Louisiana Legislative Water Annual Compliance Questionnaire. So we've filled this out again for the 2020-25 audit. There's no major changes to questions or answers. President Pro Tem has assigned on the 2 required questions, and appreciate y'all's vote to advance this resolution, affirming that it's been completed, and we provide the resolution to our auditors as they require.
So can we get a motion to approve resolution R63, 2026? Been moved by Director Pacho. Second by Director Scruggs. Any discussion, any comment, question? Any public comment?
No public comment.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? All right, motion carries for resolution R063, 2026. Next, we will have our General Superintendent's recommendations presented by Interim General Superintendent Caitlin Timrick.
Good morning. All right, we do have a number of items here today. We'll start with the contract renewals. We have 2 items. The first is R015, 2026, which is the first renewal of contract 2024 SWB 103 for furnishing lime to the Algiers Water Treatment Plant between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and La Hoist, North America, Missouri. This is the first renewal of a contract for continuation of treatment chemicals in the amount of $565,812 and an extension for an additional year through March 7th of next year. And along those same lines, we have the first renewal of contract 2024 SWB 117, again furnishing lime, this time to the Carrollton Water Treatment Plant between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Cheney Lime. This is the first renewal in the amount of $2,096,850 for an additional 365 days to April 21st of 2027. Are we taking them in globe of the amendments or the renewals?
We're gonna take them separate. They lay it out on each.
Okay. So may we have a motion to approve contract awards, renewals, resolutions R15, 2026 and R16, 2026?
So moved.
Moved by Director Greenwich. Seconded by Director Pacho. Any questions? All in favor? Are any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And now our contract amendments.
All right, we have one contract amendment. This is R022-2026, which is Amendment 6 to the agreement between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and JEI Solutions for skilled and unskilled labor for maintenance. This is an additional extension to this contract. Last year, we put out an RFP for a new contract, and we are still going through that evaluation selection process. So we have received bids, we're working through that process, and are doing an extension at this point through July 1st of 2026, or earlier until such time that a new contract is in place. So this will add an additional compensation of $950,000 based on estimated month-to-month basis and an extension through July 1st.
Does this additional compensation reflect any change in rate, or is this just continuing on as we've been
This
saying?
reflects, yes, current rates in the contract, yeah.
I have an additional question about that. I believe this is the one that had saying that they were losing the DBE because Sewage and Water Board was getting their laborers or something like that.
What rate
that is occurring, or?
There are times when we, through individual decisions by the employees of that contract, may elect to come work for the Sewage and Water Board. So I cannot speak to their expectation in DB performance going forward, but.
And did they adjust because of that?
Adjust in what way?
I thought they said they were adjusting some rates further down, maybe not.
Yeah, I think what the suggestion is that, wages overall need to be considered, right? And that's one of the things that is being looked at as part of the new contract.
Which is why it's, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. May we have a motion to approve contract amendment R22, 2026?
So moved.
Moved by Director Scruggs,
Second.
second by Director Greenwich. Any additional questions, comments? No public comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? No? All right. Contract award, amendment R22, 2026 is passed. And next, we will go to the change orders.
Yes, we have five contract change orders by ratification. First is R017, 2026, ratification of change order 4 for contract 30230 for the Carrollton Basin Numbers 2 sewer rehabilitation between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and BLD. This is change order number 4, which adds 150 days to the contract to account for working around water leaks as well as adding restoration on certain streets and delays from that restoration to meet the consent decree deadline. So the construction work was prioritized and we're coming back to complete the restoration for these projects. So that's an additional 150 days. with no dollars added at this time. Next is our 018-2026 ratification of change order number 5 for 30235, Carrollton Basin number 5, sewer rehabilitation between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and BOD Services LLC. Change order 5 adds an additional 120 days to this project and no dollars. This is, however, it does adjust bid item quantities to reflect actual work performed. And the 128 days is due to, again, the restoration and some additional work that was determined. So no dollars, 128 days for a new substantial completion date of February 26, 2026. All right. R019-2026, ratification of change order number 6, 30252, Carrollton Basin 11, sewer rehabilitation between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and BLD Services. Change order number 6 represents a field change order which adjusting final quantities for final reconciliation and does add $63,784 for unbilled work that was just simply not captured in the previous change order. So this adds an additional dollars, however, substantial completion date of August 8th remains the same.
I have a quick question for you. Do we know why it wasn't captured in the previous change order?
Sometimes upon review of that, during review, they've just found this additional work. So it is work that was completed and is legitimate and needed to be billed, so, yeah. R020-2026, ratification of change order number 6 for contract 30255, Carrollton Basin number 14, sewer rehabilitation between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Fleming Construction LLC. Change order number 6 adds 90 days to the contract for a new substantial completion date of January 16th, 2026. This represents field change order number 12, which was delays due to needing to work around water closure delays and other electrical feeder work that was in the plant that required a pause on some of their work. So again, change order 6 adds 90 days for substantial completion date of January 16th, 2026. And last but not least in this group, ratification of change order number 5 for contract 30258, Carrollton Basin sewer number 17, sewer rehabilitation between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Wallace C. Drennan. Change order number 5 is actually a deductive change order in the amount of $331.28 due to final adjustments of bid quantities to reflect actual work performed, and the substantial completion date remains the same of September 22nd, 2025. All right.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve contract change order by ratification resolutions R017-2026, R018-2026, R019-2026, R020-2026, and R021-2026.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Greenwich, seconded by Director Scruggs. Any discussion, any questions? None, any public comment?
No public comment, Chair.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, the motion carries. And lastly,
Last but not least, we have a contract change order by authorization, R024-2026. This is the authorization of change order number 1 for contract 2163. This is water main point repairs, water service connections, water valve and hydrant replacements, fire hydrant replacements at various sites throughout Orleans Parish between the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans and Bow Brothers Construction. This is one of our capital water repair contracts. That is one of the contracts that's supporting us right now. So there have been 2 previous renewals to this contract, which was originally entered into on 2023. This is a change order because we have unspent contract capacity on the contract. So this is simply adding dollars, or I'm sorry, adding days to the contract. Yes, I'm sorry. So we will extend this through the end of this year to allow us to complete the unspent contract capacity while we are, we'll also do another bid for continuation of services. Yeah. All right, and yes, so that extends that through December 31st of this year.
Got it. Thank you. May I have a motion to, I'm sorry. May I have a motion to approve contract change order by authorization R024-2026?
So,
Moved by Director Scruggs. Second by Director Pacho. Any discussion, comment? None. All in favor?
aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. There are 3 information items for committee members to review. Are there any public comments?
No public comment,
No
Chair.
public comments?
Question.
Yes.
Question. Randy, based on, your meeting with the city council and their request for a comprehensive plan to address infrastructure, water main issues, et cetera, was there any discussion, or can you give us an update of once that plan is presented, the funding necessary to complete the project? Was there any discussion relative to that?
No. The discussion yesterday wasn't on the funding. They were asking for a plan, which we have been working on, especially since the Claiborne water main break. And so I was talking actually this morning again with the General Superintendent. So we're gonna develop the plan. It will have in it what next steps are. We're gonna look at using new technologies, be it leak detection or putting a tube in a tube or reinforcing the joints. So I see 2 things happening. We can put out an RFQ or an RFI to see what's available out there, the new technologies, and evaluate that. The other thing is we could do an emergency acquisition and decide where the hot spots are and go ahead and put someone out there immediately. And so that's what I'm pushing the engineers to take a look at. But we'll be finalizing a plan. It may be some of it preliminary because we need additional information. But the public deserves it, and we have been working on it. There's a lot the engineers do that we don't see, but we will have something in the short term that we'll be able to present to the board and to the mayor.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you. Great. Any other questions, comments? All right, being no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Director Scruggs. Second by Director Greenwich. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
It's to be.
Like when I talk about.
I don't, I think I have to read them out.
That's okay.